Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Trainee Symposia series preview, what to expect at the 2026 sleep meeting. This is the second part of a two-part series with doctors David Reichenberger and Kat Kennedy. We're so thrilled to have you all here. We'll just give everyone about a minute to work their way into the Zoom, and then we will get started. All right, I think we're keeping steady with everyone working their way in, and we'll of course allow those who are coming a couple minutes after the hour to work their way in too. But I think we'll get kicked off here for the day. So I will pass it over to Dr. David Reichenberger and Kat Kennedy for what I am so certain will be a wonderful discussion today.
Well, thank you so much, Gabby. Hi, everyone. Really happy to be here today. I'm David Reichenberger. I'm currently a postdoc at Oregon Health and Science University. Kat, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Kat Kennedy. I'm a postdoc at the University of Arizona.
And we are both the training members at large. Kat is the current training member at large elect, but she will soon be your official training member at large come the sleep meeting. So today we're all here to discuss the Trainee Symposia series and what you should expect coming to this meeting this year. This webinar is designed mostly for first-time attendees, but there's really a lot of great information for anyone who's previously attended, for all trainees, really. So hoping that you all get something out of this. Today is going to be similar to our presentation that we presented back in January, but providing more up-to-date information on all of the Trainee Symposia series, as well as some additional aspects and opportunities that you can be part of. So today's agenda, we will be talking about the trainee programming on both Saturday and Sunday for the Trainee Symposia series. We'll be talking about networking at the conference and the Sleep Pals program, the different opportunities that are available to you as a trainee within the Sleep Research Society, and then how to get involved with the broader trainee community for those of you who do sleep and circadian research. So as you may already know, the Trainee Symposia series is currently 2 days. It's on Saturday, June 13th, and then Sunday, June 14th. And on Saturday, there will be the grant writing workshop in the morning, followed by a trainee social event in the evening. And in between those two things will be the trainee programming for the Saturday session. On Sunday will be the Trainee Symposia series, which is a ton of different sessions that you've already been signed up for when you registered for sleep. But we'll be going over those updates today. And then following the Trainee Symposia series, there will be some additional networking opportunities. And then finally, Club Hypnos to kick off the proper sleep conference. So the trainees programming today, or that we'll discuss, is the Trainee Symposia series. Kind of gone over this a little bit. We'll go into detail in a moment. But this includes the trainee social event on Saturday, trainee networking development suite, which happens on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then the Sleep Pal program, which Kat will go into detail on a little bit later, and the grant writing workshop Saturday morning. So the Saturday sleep trainee day, it is fairly recently implemented. We used to have this many years ago, and then it was removed, and now it has returned with gusto, and it features a couple different programs to try to really increase a sense of community and cohortship among all the trainees who are finally attending SLEAP in person, seeing everyone possibly in person for the first time, or if this is your first time attending, trying to make memories and create opportunities for you to meet people who will continue to be part of your SLEAP experience for the rest of your career. So Saturday programming will include a couple different networking opportunities, several different panels, a data blitz and award recognition for those who received the Trainee Merit Award, as well as the DEI Award. We'll also receive or have a keynote presented by the incoming Sleep Research Society president. And then after that, there will be a social event. So this is a detail of the timeline across Saturday, as well as on Sunday. So just to reemphasize, the grant writing workshop is in the morning on Saturday. We've got networking, the panel that talks about choosing what counts when everything feels important, essential nowadays. We'll have another networking opportunity, the award recognition, as well as the data blitz, and then the keynote, followed by another panel that will go into depth on some of the different training opportunities that you can be part of. And these will be slightly different from the opportunities that we present on today. So at the end of the Saturday Trainee Symposium Series session, we'll go to a social event. This will be at the Cross Street Market. If you were at the Seattle Sleep Conference last year, this will be kind of similar to what we did, where we kind of went to the pier to be able to let everyone choose what they wanted to eat. There will be lots of different options here at Cross Street Market, where we can all then congregate once everyone has their food. So going into the Sunday Trainee Symposia Series sessions, there are 5 different tracks that you would have been able to sign up for. There will be sessions about basic sleep science, sessions about circadian science, sessions about professional development, sleep and behavior specifically, and then also specifically sleep disorders. And when you signed up for this, you had already chosen what sessions you're going to be part of. And so at the moment, you're kind of locked in. So this isn't so much us telling you what you ought to sign up for, but more updating you on any changes that may have happened since you signed up, as well as getting you excited for the different speakers and the different topics that you'll actually get to see. So just looking at the basic science research track, at the first session, this will be looking at sleep and the glymphatic system, excuse me. In the second session, we'll be looking at I cannot speak this today, the multimodal insights into sleep and memory. So if you're really interested in memory, this is going to be a great session for you, especially because it's featuring Dr. Robert Stickold, who is a pioneer in dream science. Fantastic. And then the final session for this basic science track, we'll be looking at big data across different model organisms. So this will be super interesting. Dr. Walsh is a fantastic researcher, and I'm really excited to see what she has to present on this year. Looking at the next track for circadian science, the morning session, they're all morning sessions. The first, most early morning session is going to be looking at rest activity rhythms and health across the lifespan. The second session will feature 2 fantastic researchers from my current institution, Oregon Health and Science University. The session is going to be about whether there are ideal times for eating and physical activity across the day. And then finally, this will be a really cool session looking at light exposure and its impact on sleep and circadian rhythms. We had a couple different changes with this particular session, and we now are featuring Dr. Frank Shear and Dr. Aaron Flynn Evans, who will be giving, I can only guess, as fantastic presentations. And so next, I'm going to hand this over to Kat to discuss the remaining research tracks.
So, kicking off the first of the professional development track, this will be a really cool session. So, I'm sure some of you who've signed up for this will be itching to attend to hear all about how to use AI. I mean, it's like the hot topic right now, right? So, how should we be thinking about how to use AI both in the work that we're doing, but in the field more broadly? So, yeah, we've got like some fantastic speakers lined up for that. And then the second session at 9 a.m., another really interesting one. So, for those of you interested in really how to visualize your data, so when you're working with really kind of sophisticated sleep and circadian data, what is the best way to really convey that message to the reader, right? And again, we have some fantastic names ready for this session. Angus Burns is a new addition. The third professional development session is all about how to build bridges. So, how to really be reaching communities in the research that we're doing, which is super important. For the first of the sleep and behavior track sessions, so 8 a.m., is sleep and women's health with two absolute leaders in the field. The second session for the sleep and behavior track is all about climate change and sleep health. Again, another really hot topic here. And then the third session here is all about childhood sleep and long-term health consequences. And, I have to obviously acknowledge Mary Cascadden, who is a legend in the field, who will be at this session. For the sleep disorders track, so the fifth of I think this is our final track. The first session we have is all about non-pharmacological interventions for insomnia, so beyond CBTI here. Ashley Curtis is a new addition to this session if you've signed up for this one. The second one is, again, another really hot topic in research right now, sleep and psychedelics. So thinking about how some of these compounds might be beneficial to sleep potentially. I think the hearing from these two researchers, especially Andrew Crystal, will be particularly fascinating. And then the third and final session at 10 a.m. is circadian rhythm disorders. So just thinking about different tools that can be used to decrease patient burden and increase diagnostic accessibility. Kelly Glazer-Barron is a new addition to this one, which is really exciting. There will be at the end of the Sunday Trainee Symposia series a networking hour. So this is just a really lovely opportunity for everyone to get together over lunch to kind of mingle with people you've met throughout the weekend so far and see some familiar faces if you're returning to the sleep meeting for, you've been in previous years. And then, as David mentioned earlier, there is a really exciting social event that happens on Sunday evening called Club Hypnos. And it's really just a celebration of everything that's happening in the Sleep Research Society. And there will be food, there will be some fun data being shown, and it's just a really positive, exciting, kind of uplifting atmosphere to really kick things off for the main conference. And so now we'll move on to some other opportunities that are available throughout the conference. So the Trainee Networking and Development Suite is a great opportunity to really kind of have face time with some big names in the field, as you can see by all the names listed here. And what's great about this is that it happens throughout the conference. So in case you can't attend the Saturday or Sunday sessions, which, we realize it ends up making the conference quite long and not everyone can attend so early on, this is great because these are these other opportunities that are kind of planted throughout the conference. On Monday, it'll be at lunchtime. Tuesday is sort of breakfast time, first thing in the morning. And Wednesday, again, back to lunchtime. And it's really kind of a sit around the table and ask your questions to these different leaders. And so the Monday session is all about how to make mentorship work for you. Super important, especially if you're deciding what the next stage is in your career. The Tuesday session is all about what happens after graduate school. So trying to figure out how you can best fit in with whatever it is that the job market is like at that stage or the next academic career stage. And then the Wednesday session is, obviously something on everyone's minds right now. So thinking about how to secure funding. So hopefully some really helpful insight for those of you interested in this. This is just a little note to make sure that you attend the poster sessions. So if you are presenting a poster, you'll already be there, but definitely go to the poster sessions, even if you don't have a poster that you're presenting, because it's really the best opportunity to get face time with people doing the research that you're doing. The talks are great, they're very exciting, but you don't really so much get that one-on-one time with the speakers. You're lucky if your question gets answered. Whereas in the poster session, you can really just be mingling and networking with people who are doing exactly the type of research that you're interested in. And there's really no place like it. It's very exciting if you've not been to a poster hall before. This we like to put up as just some networking tips. So networking is it can be kind of intimidating, right? Like trying to put yourself out there and trying to meet other people, especially if you're more on the introverted side. It's difficult to know where to begin sometimes. So even though this looks like there's a lot of text on the slide, I'll just kind of go through and hopefully give you some insight if are a little bit intimidated by networking. So the best thing you can be doing for your career and to be making those connections in the field is to be going to conferences, right? Because that's where you really get that one-on-one time with other researchers who are doing the work that you're interested in. So if you're going to the sleep meeting, this one is already a box checked. The second one is, go and introduce yourself to people. A really helpful tip, if you don't know where to begin, is to just, be aware of what that person does ahead of time, have some questions on hand, or have a compliment you can pay them. Just have a few words up your sleeve that really can help to break the ice. So just believe in yourself and give it a go and go and meet someone. Hopefully, if you've been to the Trainee Symposia series ahead of time, you've had plenty of opportunities to kind of practice your networking skills, maybe before you have to go and introduce yourself to like the big name in the field. The third commandment that we have is have a question in mind. We can sometimes find ourselves intimidated by potential mentors that we might work with in the future, but have some questions prepared. It'll make for a much more fruitful conversation. So that's just another tip there. If you are approaching a potential mentor, maybe this is someone that you've sort of connected with ahead of the conference with a plan to meet up for coffee or something while you're there, have some ideas and expectations that you'd like to discuss with them. But also bear in mind that if, they're a busy person in the field, they might also be having lots of other meetings with lots of other people. So it's about striking that balance between knowing what is reasonable to ask of them and maybe the things that you need, but also understanding that everyone's busy at the conference, right? So thinking about how you can maybe have that connection and then follow up with them later. Number 5 is to join networking groups within your institution or outside your institution. So things like this, everything that we do through the Sleep Research Society for trainees, and David will touch on some of these later. There are some great ways to stay connected with people, but also look for things happening in your institution as well, especially if you have other people doing research in your area, right? Remember that it is better to give than to receive. So, if you are reaching out about collaborations, if you're reaching out about mentor-mentee relationships, think about what you can bring to the table. It's always nice to show up with, hey, I'm really interested in this particular thing that you're working on. I would love to show you this, or I would love to discuss this thing further. Kind of get the ball rolling with it. Number 7, communicate clearly, effectively, and politely. So, really just go into it, whatever connection you're trying to make with like your best self forward, be polite, follow up with thank you emails. Those things can go a long way, right? So just remember to do that. Number 8, promise, do what you say you're going to do and like follow through on time. So this is another one of these things. Again, if you're making connections with people at the conference, don't overpromise and underdeliver. I think that's a rule in life. So just make sure that you're really like following through with what you say that you're going to do. And this really ties into the next one. Don't, underdeliver what it is that you think is reasonable. I know we all want to do all of the things all of the time, but maybe err on the side of caution sometimes. And then finally, express gratitude. So this can really be applied to whomever you meet at the conference this year, whether it's other people, other trainees that you're interacting with throughout the Symposia series, or potential mentors or collaborators. Just express gratitude. And again, another rule for life. So some of you may already be signed up for the Sleep Pals program. This kicked off a couple of weeks ago, and essentially this is a program for first-time attendees of the conference to be paired up with an experienced conference goer. And these are members of our Trainee Symposia series subcommittee. So this is really just whether it's your first conference ever or whether you're kind of in a different field and you go to other conferences as your main one and you're now moving into the sleep field, this is really just a fantastic opportunity to, have a friend there because it can be really intimidating showing up at a conference. And it can be kind of lonely if you don't know anyone, right? And you're a little bit intimidated, don't know how to network, don't really feel comfortable going up and kind of cold introducing yourself to someone. This is just a pal that you can have throughout the conference. And the way that this program works, if you want to think about it for next year or tell others about it, is essentially you get paired up with a pal, and then sometime, and this is happening right now, sometime before the conference, the pals and the first time attendees connect over Zoom or phone call to just introduce themselves to one another, and they've been matched based on their interest in the different sessions at the Trainee Symposia series. So the idea is it's not just like a cold random match with somebody, but that it's someone that you have something in common with the idea being that this could be a connection that lasts ideally a lifetime. It might be a mentor-mentee relationship, or it might be people of the same kind of career stage just wanting to make a friend, make a pal, make a colleague. And the idea is that our pals and first-time attendees then connect at the sleep meeting to go grab a coffee together or go grab dinner, and just kind of the first-time attendee can kind of learn the ropes and see how the conference works. And then I think I'll pass it back over to you, David.
Thank you, Kat. Yeah, that's such a lovely description of the Sleep Pals program. Uh, we had one member of the subcommittee recently recount his experience, both as a first-time attendee last year and how he had just a fantastic pal, and like they've continued to communicate and be friends, and they're excited to meet up again. And now this year he is a pal because he is on the TSS subcommittee. And so he gets to provide that experience to someone else and pay it forward. And it's just really lovely. And so this, along with all the other different types of networking activities that we're trying to have here at the sleep meeting, is really for you as first-time attendees, or even if you're a seasoned sleep veteran. Like, we want you to be able to come to sleep and not just, hang out with your lab, because you can do that anytime. We want you to mix and mingle and introduce yourself and like make friends and be with people who do similar research or do research that you want to do, and like can impart that knowledge onto you, and you can do the same for them. And like, you're building not just a friendship, but a potential collaborator going forward. And really, at the end of the day, like, you want to be working with people that you like. And so finding these people that you really match well with is crucial, both in terms of your enjoyment of the sleep conference now, as well as your ability to do really amazing novel research in the future. So please do take advantage of the Sleep Pals program in the future. Please take advantage of the networking that we'll have at the sleep meeting this year, as well as pay close attention to the different opportunities that are available at the end of this presentation. That'll give you a way to step into these larger roles and into the broader sleep community, and really begin to engage with everyone else who is a peer or even more advanced than you, so that you can really make your presence known in the community. So let's talk about some of those opportunities. We have a grant application pre-review program that is brand new that I get to discuss. We have the Trainee Symposia Series subcommittee for next year. We have the Trainee Journal Club, which can happen anytime, and the Sleep Advances Trainee Publication Fee Award or Waiver Award. And then there's also a job board, as well as a couple other different ways to engage with the community. So first, we have the grant application pre-review program. So if you're working on a grant and you just need an extra set of eyes beyond your own institution, this is a great way to get sleep-focused mentorship and figure out what your gaps may be, things that you might need to change, and really strengthen and tweak your application before it formally goes into whatever application portal you submit it. Then we have the subcommittee. I am so privileged this year to have had such a wonderful subcommittee. And these are people who are interested in volunteering and being part of making sure that the Trainee Symposia series is a success. So these volunteers came up with ideas for what each of the different sessions are. And we identified speakers and figured out how the broader presentation of Trainee Symposia series will go this year. And so really it's this subcommittee that you owe your thanks to when you have a fantastic series of sessions on Sunday. These are also the same volunteers who serve as sleep pals, and they also serve a bunch of other different roles throughout the year. And really, this is a fantastic way to step into the Sleep Research Society. Next, we have the Trainee Journal Club. This can be written by any SRS trainees. Basically, you and a couple of your peers will review a recently published sleep, or I believe maybe sleep advances publication, and then you'll write a commentary on that publication, and this will be published in the Journal of Sleep. So a really great low barrier way to get published in the journal. The Sleep Advances Trainee Publication Fee Waiver Award is a great way to submit your research to the open access journal, Sleep Advances. If you apply for this award, then the fee will just be completely waived and you can just submit it and get it published. And then we also have the Trainee Job Board. Please feel free to use these QR codes to link directly to the different locations. Apologize for only mentioning it now, but the Trainee Job Board is a great way for if you're stepping into the next stage of your career, specifically and especially for postdoctoral fellowships. And then now tapping into the broader trainee community, we have the trainees / early career in circadian and sleep science or in sleep Discord. This is a forum, much like Slack, where you can create an account and join the Discord. And we've got a bunch of different topics that you can ask questions in or introduce yourself. Or I like to post different postdoctoral opportunities in there when they come to my attention. It's a great way to stay in touch throughout the year and not just during Sleep in June. Kat, would you like to talk about the co-working hour?
Oh, yeah, I'll just give a quick mention to this. So this was something that we started a few, maybe fall of last year, and it's exactly what it sounds like. So it's just an online co-working hour. So if you want an hour of time to work in what I hope is, like a nice supportive environment with just a few trainees, including me, it's just like a blocked off 1 hour of time that you can come and like get whatever piece of work done. So we have people who are like, oh, I'm slogging away at data, or oh, I need to finish this talk that I'm working on, or whatever it is. We've had a lot of people writing dissertations and the like. This is the QR code and the Zoom link for it. And it happens every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern.
It's awesome to have an SRS accountability group. One of my favorite things has been attending it throughout the year. And oftentimes, like right before we're submitting abstracts, everyone's just working on their own abstract in the session. Yeah. Most recently, people are working on their posters or their talks ahead of sleep. So it's fun to have that camaraderie with other trainees. And then there's also a podcast, if you didn't know. The Sleep Research Society podcast was previously hosted by Jesse Cook. He did a wonderful job setting up this podcast and has continued to just do wonderful things, interviewing uh, like super fascinating researchers about their research getting published in Sleep and Sleep Advances. Uh, Now we have a new host. So Sandy Nahi's, I apologize if I said the name wrong. Your last name wrong, Sandy. I'm terrible. But Sandy is a fantastic person, and she's going to do really amazing work as the upcoming host of the Sleep Research Society podcast. And that's it for the presentation. We'd love to open it up for questions. Feel free to post them in the chat. If you want to reach out to either Kat or me, our emails are listed on screen. Yeah, please let us know if you have any questions about sleep this year.
Thanks for being here.
I think we had one while the presentation was going on, just confirming that all of the session times on Sunday will begin at 8 a.m. First session will go from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., duration being an hour. We'll have about 10 minutes until the next session, beginning at 9:10 and concluding at 10:10. Another 10 minutes after that to just breathe, probably take in some information. And then the final sessions in that last time slot will begin at 10:20 and conclude at 11:20. And then we'll have, I believe it's our trainee networking hour, which will be featured with a lunch, some boxed lunches. So just saw that in the chat and wanted to briefly share out about that. But if there are any other, I think we've got maybe another question coming through. The social event on Saturday will be held outside of the kind of room block, as it were. So we will be on the third floor of the Baltimore Convention Center. The Trainee Day link that I had linked within my answer shows where each session will be designated, but outside of those room blocks. We will have the Camden lobby available to us. And that is where, or the social event. I'm sorry, I'm speaking on the networking hour. The social event is right there. Thank you,
It'll
David.
be it'll be at the Cross Street Market
And
Saturday evening.
it's about a 3-minute walk away, I think, from the convention center or thereabouts. It's very close by.
There you have it. And I just shared about the networking hour. So now I guess we've established where both are. So
Good deal.
any further questions, feel free to pop in the chat. We'll give I guess a couple more minutes for any lingering questions. Okay, I'm not seeing anything come through as of yet. David or Kat, was there any last lingering mentions? I know we had a lot of really great information and a really lovely breakdown of the events to come. I know there's lots going on, but there's really, really great stuff. Of course, planned by, I want to acknowledge both David and Kat. Looks like we do have another question. Will the first time attendee award also be at the same time as the diversity travel award?
So I believe that's going out. It went out through email, and it's not going to be recognized at the Saturday event.
Correct. Yes, that is correct.
So it's just going to be 2 different awards that'll be recognized. And even for the Trainee Merit Award, it's not going to be all people who receive the Trainee Merit Award. It'll be a handful of the top awardees presenting data blitzes.
Great questions. Okay. I think that may have been maybe our final. I don't want to speak too soon and step on anyone who may be typing out a question. But assuming that that was our final question of today's discussion, and please feel free to, as David shared, feel free to reach out to David, Kat, or myself for any further questions, especially as we approach the sleep meeting. But we've got some really wonderful events planned, and I just want to thank both David and Kat for all of their work and contribution. And yes, this presentation will be available to view later. We will have it up on the SRS YouTube page. Our first part is there. If any refreshers there are needed, our January webinar is there, and this webinar will be there on our YouTube channel. So feel free to access and refresh as needed. And I also just want to say thank you so much to our trainee, our complete committee with the Trainee Education Advisory Committee, all of the task forces who are putting all of these pieces for such lovely events. We're so looking forward to it. And I think that concludes our session for today. David and Kat, thank you so much. And thanks to all those for attending.
Thank you, Gabby. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take care.